External Affairs Minister Dr. SJaishankar has taken a strong jibe at Pakistan and China during a session on his authored book, Why Bharat Matters. He stated that Pakistan is sponsoring terrorism at almost an industry level and asked how can one deal with a neighbor who does not hide the fact that they use terrorism as an instrument of statecraft. He said India has to find a way of addressing a menace, as dodging the problem will get us nowhere. He also commented on India's border situation with China and accused Beijing of disturbing the foundation of equilibrium. Dr. Jaishankar said that India is not essentially looking at solving the boundary issue, but maintaining peace and tranquility on the borders. He also reiterated India's stance on the Arunachal issue with China and said that China's repeated claims on Arunachal are ludicrous and that the frontier state was a natural part of India. So, of course, strong statements there being made. Meanwhile, joining us at this point of time is my colleague Brian Thomas. Brian, again, strong statements have been made by External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar. If you could take our viewers through those statements that have been made.
Definitely, Asabi, a very strong statement made by External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, where he emphasized the complex situation of dealing with a neighbor like Pakistan. Jaishankar said that Islamabad uses terrorism. He mentions, and he specifically mentions, that Islamabad uses terrorism as an instrument of statecraft and does not even hide from the fact. He also affirmed that India will not skirt this problem anymore, and the mood in the country is not to overlook the issue of terrorism. The External Affairs Minister, who is in Singapore as part of his three-nation visit, was now speaking at the Institute of South Asian Studies of the National University of Singapore on his book, Why Bharat Matters. And he, on the event also, Jaishankar said that every country wants a stable neighborhood. And he also says that, India has been fortunate, or it'll start to be blessed with one of that he has their best. And he also says, he rather asked the question, how do you deal with a neighbor who does not even hide the fact that they use terrorism as an instrument of statecraft? And taking a real dig at Pakistan, External Affairs Minister also said that in the country, terrorism exists almost at industry level and even assembly line. And he also says that it's not a one-off. Different countries at different points of time have experienced this, but a very sustained, almost an industry level or even assembly line people, those whose job is to do bad things at night, he said. And he also added that India has decided that it will have to find a way to address the problem, because dodging it will only invite more problems. He says that they do not have a quick, instantaneous fix, but what he can say that India will not skirt this problem anymore.
Right.
And if they have a problem, if India has a problem, they must be honest enough to face up to the problem, and and to have these discussions, they should find a solution and must work through, and should not give any other country free pass. And India is no mood to overlook terrorism. Yes, Asami.
Right, absolutely, Brian. With that, I'd like to thank you for joining us on the broadcast and sharing all those details with our viewers. Meanwhile, joining us at this point of time is Major General Sudhakar Ji, geopolitical expert. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you so much for speaking to us on NewsX. Now, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has made it very, very clear. India is in no mood to overlook terrorism. What do you make of these strong statements that have been made against Pakistan and China?
Sabri, good afternoon. Thank you for getting me to your show once again. I can only compliment our Minister of External Affairs for calling it out, saying the truth, speaking the truth. Time has come where the global order has to realize one thing very in the right perspective, that in 21st century, double standards cannot carry on. Some stop has to be made, and that stop has to be made by a credible nation like India. And we have none other than, better than Mr. Jaishankar, the Honorable the Minister of External Affairs, and our Honorable Prime Minister. So, having said that, what is it that the External Affairs Minister is trying to actually, dig in or convey? He's trying to convey enough is enough. It's about time that you look at the future perspective of growth on a roadmap of a progressive, forward-looking kind of a development. So that if terrorism has not given you what you wanted, and your demand for liberation of J&K, which is actually the single most motto of the deep state in Pakistan, also they have some subsidiary mottos and also attributes, that is using the non-state actor as a tool for statecraft. So these things have not paid you dividends. Now, when are you going to wake up? It's a wake-up call which India has given enough number of times. We have exercised restraint. We have shown utmost patience. Now we need to apply ourselves to find a solution to the ongoing problems imposed by the Western neighbor. He has not said anything wrong. He's calling it out. He's speaking in a very righteous manner that in 21st century, if you do not call out a problem, and given the fact that the biggest problem in the world today is identification of problem, if that problem is correctly identified by somebody like an external affairs minister, what mistake has he done? What mistake India has done? So therefore, I think he's on the right lines. I think he's articulating the right kind of expressions. We need to demand the global order to find a permanent solution and stop this menace of terrorism taking place from the soil of Pakistan once and for all. As long as it continues to last, we'll have West Asia boiling. We'll have the militarization taking place all over the world. We have the Third World War manifesting from Central Europe to Gaza and Israel, to Red Sea, to the Indian subcontinent, and further gravitating towards South China Sea. The whole world is going to be in a mess. He's actually forewarning the world.
Right.
That better late than never. You put an end to the whole thing. Terrorism is the central issue, the biggest common challenge before the world order.
Right.
If Moscow attack is to be taken any reference of. Back to you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.